Chelsea are the new Zenith Data Systems Cup holders following their victory over Middlesbrough at Wembley. It's the second time they won this competition, the previous occasion being in 1986 when it was called the Full Members Cup. Now you can enjoy Chelsea's latest trophy success. It began back in November 1989 with an away tie at Bournemouth. Included in the Chelsea lineup for that game was a recent signing from West Ham, Alan Dickens. Peter Brackley is the commentator.
So what an exciting cup tie this is turning into. And it's Bournemouth pressing here. Moncao with a header away. Now then for Blissett. Setting up the shooting opportunity and the goal! Besant couldn't stop it. And Bournemouth have taken the lead here. 6 minutes into the second half. The scorer, Luther Blissett. Well, the Old England striker was on his mettle then. And it's, I think, deflected off the legs of Graham Roberts. And Besant could only parry it. Clark for Chelsea. Support here from Wilson. And he's done well. A useful cross in too. Dixon down. Dickens, 1-1. Alan Dickens, first goal for Chelsea. And what an important one it could be, as it brings Chelsea right back in this game. Excellent work down the right then from Kevin Wilson. And watch here for the jump from Kerry Dixon. I don't think, in fact, he knocked it down. It came back off the defender, and it's Dickens who tucks it away. 10 minutes to go. A match that really could go either way. And that's a useful ball through, and Blissett's clear here. Besant committed. Blissett with the shot. Oh, off the post, and Shearer, the substitute, has scored. Bournemouth are back in front, and Shearer, with virtually his first touch, has restored Bournemouth's lead. Superb ball through here. Off goes Blissett. Chelsea really stretched at the back. Besant's come all the way. He doesn't get there though. Blissett's shot looked to be going in. It comes back off the post, and there's Shearer to steer it in. So can Chelsea come back again? This is Dixon. Now then for Clark. There's Dickens, and it's a goal! Dickens has equalised. That's a magnificent header. And Chelsea once again have pulled it back. Dixon challenging here. And you'll see Clark in the bottom of the picture. As the ball took clear, he has time to set up the opportunity, and Dickens, doesn't he take it well? It's 2-2. So can either side clinch it now in extra time? It's Dixon. Dickens arriving, and it's a hat-trick, and Chelsea are in front for the first time. Alan Dickens with his third goal of the game. And remember, he hadn't scored at all for Chelsea before this one. Now he's scored 3 times. And is that going to be enough to take Chelsea through?
Indeed it was. In the next round, Chelsea were drawn at home to West Ham. Alan Dickens wasn't in the side to face his old club, but Gordon Durie was in the starting lineup, making his 6th appearance of the season after injury.
It's another long kick upfield by Parks. Clive Wilson for Chelsea. Lasso, he's given it away though. Clive Wilson, he's got Durie outside him. And here's Durie now, a shooting chance, good save by Parks. Showing all his experience there, Phil Parks, spreading himself so well. As it's slotted through by Wilson, Durie had time to size up the shot, and Parks down well. Keane. Martin Allen. And Besant's turn this time to remind us of his goalkeeping qualities. Laid off into the path of Martin Allen, and Besant down well at the near post. Down from Dixon, McAllister. Right across the face of the goal, and no one there from Chelsea to finish it off. This is Keane. It's a promising build-up here from West Ham. Liam Brady now. And Besant again to the rescue for Chelsea. Well, they've been leaking goals in the last few matches, Chelsea, but they've been, without any question at all, kept in this one by Besant. On from Gale, Strotter, shot was charged down, and that was Keane over the bar. So it's a good spell this for West Ham. Strotter denied there, and Keane driving his shot over the bar. Now Dury looking to take on Foster. And the big defender just doing enough, so a corner to Chelsea. Clive Wilson trotting across to take it. Roberts has come forward. Here's Wilson. Away by Dix. Wilson has another chance to cross it in. Moncau and Dury in there challenging, and a safe catch for Phil Parks. And I think that may well have come off defender Strotter. As we look again at the replay here, Moncau, and indeed he came back off Strotter. Wilson feeding Roberts. That's a lovely ball through. Kerry Dixon, and there's the first goal. 10 minutes from half-time, and Kerry Dixon with a splendid piece of finishing then. Roberts, an intelligent pass through. He spotted Dixon making the break, and Parks couldn't keep out the shot. Tucked in delightfully then by Kerry Dixon. Strotter with the tackle on Dixon. Chelsea seeking in this second half the cushion of a second goal. Bumstead with McAllister. He's done well here. Steve Clark. Well, he couldn't keep it down, but away to goal opened up then for Clark. Set up by McAllister. And the shot over the bar. Here's McAllister. On from Dury. Clive Wilson. That's good play by him. Now, is this going to be the second one for Chelsea? He's brought down, and it's a penalty. Ray Lewis right on the spot, literally. And there's a penalty. Clive Wilson, who did so well, skipping past the tackle into the danger zone, and he might well have scored there. His legs whipped away from underneath him. So, Graham Roberts. And it's 2-0. 10 minutes into the second half, and Graham Roberts has given West Ham a very difficult task now. A well-taken penalty, Parks going the wrong way. Tony Gale, that's a glorious pass. Here's Keane. And off Clive Wilson for the corner. So Chelsea with some defending to do here. Leading 2-0, but West Ham have had their attacking moments in this game, and they will feel they're not out of it yet. It's Ward with the corner. Played back to him by Gale. And there's Keane with the shot, and it's 2-1. Well, just as I was hinting that West Ham would be feeling they could get themselves back in contention, they've done exactly that. Away by Moncau, and that's a spanking drive through by Keane. An excellent goal, and it's 2-1 now. West Ham's goal coming on the hour. Up towards this front two combination, and here's Dury! Oh, that's a great goal. But no, it's been disallowed. I can only presume for offside. It's Dixon with the flick on, and Dury must have just strayed offside there. It won't count. So West Ham still in there battling. Here's Ward. It's a teasing cross. Martin Allen got in the first header. Monkhouse away. Not too decisively though. Here's Brady. Now for Allen. Here's Dix. Good effort, good save. Besant equal to it, but the danger hasn't passed. Ward goes down. It's going to be a corner. Dix with a shot then. Superb stop by Besant. Ward's corner. Monkhouse. West Ham pressing very hard here. Are they going to be rewarded? Gale through. Besant. And the whistle's gone for the challenge on Dave Besant, who towers over everybody. But he couldn't get there. And Foster had an arm up. Here's Keane. Dix. Now then for Kelly, the substitute. And the goal from Slater. It's 2-2. David Kelly making his impact. And the substitute it was who laid on the goal for Slater. Good work here by Kelly. Besant can't hold it. And Slater was the first to react. Chelsea 2, West Ham 2. So with 13 minutes to go, Chelsea's defence has been proved suspect again. And the possibility of extra time is looming once more. Extra time, of course, in the previous round before Chelsea went on to beat Bournemouth. Here's Dix. Lasso, beaten though by Ward. And the chunky figure of Ward, prepared to take on Lasso. Here's Martin Allen. West Ham with their tails up here, and they've earned the free kick. Well, Lasso claiming it was a dive, but the linesman was well placed. He's certainly not in two minds. So a free kick to West Ham. Ward is there, and Martin Allen too. It's Ward who'll take the kick. Kerry Dixon hoping to help out back there. And here's Kelly. Oh, a spectacular goal! He really has made his mark since coming on as substitute. Kerry Dixon's defensive header really wasn't too good. On there from Foster, and then Kelly with the bicycle kick to make it 3-2 to West Ham. What a comeback. There were 2 goals down, and now they're leading 3-2. And Chelsea are in trouble. Kevin Wilson. Lasso forcing the corner. Only a couple of minutes left now. Monkhouse making his challenge. And West Ham struggling to get it away here. This is Ward. Now for Martin Allen. And they've got themselves into difficulties. David Lee, and it's 3-3! And I would imagine that Phil Parkes will be furious with his West Ham defenders. They really should have cleared that one. Martin Allen playing the ball right back into trouble. And it's David Lee who takes full advantage. So, into the last minute. An enthralling cup tie, and it now stands at 3-3, and we're heading for extra time. Unless Chelsea can find a winner here. Clark. Kevin Wilson. It's a Chelsea throw. West Ham reeling for the moment. Can they hold out now? Clive Wilson. It's a useful cross in. Now Clark. Dixon at the far post. Kevin Wilson, and it's there! And the substitute has done it. 4-3 to Chelsea. And the pendulum swings once again. Clark with the cross. Look how well Kerry Dixon climbed there at the far post. And Kevin Wilson steered it in under a distraught Phil Parkes, who simply couldn't get down quick enough. Well, is there still time for one more twist to the tail? Chelsea leading 4-3. And what drama there's been here in this cup tie. It's Kevin Wilson just playing out the last few seconds, and there really can't be long to go now. We're deep into injury time. Parkes taking the goal kick, and it's looking now as if an inspired substitution is going to take Chelsea through to the next round, and indeed it is. Kevin Wilson's winning goal. The final score here, Chelsea 4, West Ham 3.
Chelsea had made it through to the Southern semi-final after the victories over Bournemouth and West Ham. Now it was away to Ipswich. Skipper Graham Roberts was rested for this game, wearing number 11, the promising young Channel Islander Graham Lasso. And of course, for Kevin Wilson, the opportunity to play against his old club.
Lasso, he's clear here, and a goal! And I think it's gone in off Thompson. Kerry Dixon was in there too, and may well claim it. Lasso striding into the penalty area. Watch for Dixon, watch for Thompson, and it looks to me as if that's come off Thompson, but perhaps a goal for Kerry Dixon. Donowa, oh yes, 1-1. That's a splendid strike from Louis Donowa. It falls into his path, and he hits it beautifully. Oh, the back pass has gone astray. Kerry Dixon and Wilson against his old club puts Chelsea back in front, and that was a dreadful back pass. Dixon flicking it on, and Kevin Wilson arriving to score. It's a determined response here from Ipswich. Stockwell. And oh yes, from Gregory, and it's 2-2. Stockwell's perseverance laying on the chance. I think it took a deflection, but it's a goal for Ipswich. Now Lasso, Kevin Wilson going down, and it's a penalty. Now I wonder whether the referee has given that for the trip or for the fact that the ball did appear to strike the arm of Yallop. Let's watch this again there. But either way, it's a penalty to Chelsea. So all rests on the shoulders of Kevin Wilson, and he has scored. And for the third time in this game, Chelsea are in front. Can they hold it this time? Ipswich 2, Chelsea 3.
Next up, Crystal Palace in the Southern Area final. And with Wembley just a couple of games away, there was no chance of the players treating the tie lightly.
We see it as our main means of getting a trophy this year. We've actually won the competition before in its first year, and we see it as a chance to play at Wembley. A lot of people don't get the chance to play at Wembley, and it's a chance for a lot of people to sample what should be a good atmosphere, and you know, we're taking it all very seriously.
Now Chelsea would be in the limelight as the TV cameras were installed to capture all the action from both legs of the final. The Northern Area final had already been played before a live TV audience. Middlesbrough had beaten Aston Villa to earn their place at Wembley. Now it was the turn of Chelsea and Crystal Palace to perform live before the cameras of Sky Television. For the first leg, Sheffield Wednesday manager Ron Atkinson had joined commentator Peter Brackley.
It's the same Crystal Palace side that's now won 3 in a row. And goal, England B international Nigel Martin. Some outstanding saves from him in those 3 games. Across the back, Richard Shaw and John Pemberton on the flanks. In the middle, Jeff Hopkins and Andy Thorne, and they'll have the task then of containing Kerry Dixon and also Kevin Wilson, who's been in good form too, up front for Chelsea. 4 in midfield for Crystal Palace, Andy Gray, who scored last week's winner against Swindon here, of course, in the area semi-final. John Pardew, Jeff Thomas and Phil Barber. He was Saturday's match winner in the FA Cup against Rochdale. And the 2 up front for Palace, Mark Bright and John Solarco. Ian Wright still recovering from injury. We'll now look at the Chelsea side, and another England contender, of course, in goal for them, and Dave Bessant, the former Wimbledon goalkeeper, signed a year ago from Newcastle. Chelsea playing 4 at the back at the moment. Gareth Hall, he's again replacing the injured Steve Clark. Graham Roberts, the old warhorse, now Chelsea's player coach, and alongside him Erland Jonsson, the Norwegian international, and on the left England fullback Tony Dorigo. Here's the midfield: Kevin McAllister, John Bumstead, Peter Nicholas, a former Palace player during his travels, and out on the left Clive Wilson, which means the 2 up front, then Kerry Dixon playing as well really as at any stage in his career. A dual threat from him with Kevin Wilson, who's flourishing in the continued absence through injury of Gordon Durie. Rather fallen away in the league in recent weeks, Chelsea. This is their last chance to salvage something from their return to the top flight. Having been knocked out, as you heard, of the FA Cup and the Littlewoods Cup by teams from the lower divisions. This is Tony Dorigo. Hopkins, Shaw, wearing number 3, but playing on the right-hand side of the back 4 for Crystal Palace. Good crowd here at Selhurst Park. So much at stake now, of course. Can Palace go on from here after their success over Swindon a week ago? A match you may well have seen on Sky. This game also coming to you live from the ground. Here's Dorigo. Good play from him. In towards Wilson. He's away by Thorne. And there he is again. This time the flag is up for offside. Ron Atkinson alongside me here. When you were playing Chelsea earlier in the season with Sheffield Wednesday, they played with a sweeper, 5 across the back. How do you feel they're shaping up for this one?
Well, it looks as if they're going to play with a flat back 4, by virtue of the fact Monco's not playing. He's one of the markers, so obviously Johnson and Roberts will be their central defensive partnership. They'll have a handful tonight, because we mentioned how well Kerry Dixon's playing, but we've also got to take into account the lad at the other end, Bright, who probably the 2 most effective old-fashioned centre-forwards in the game at the moment.
Now Dixon with some space here. Dorigo's gone powering outside him. Now Dixon's gone through the middle. Down goes Dorigo, and is that a free kick or a corner? Well, it's certainly in Chelsea's favour, whatever the decision. Dorigo is brought down. It is a free kick. Very quick Tony Dorigo. And Shaw was always struggling to contain him. Now, what can Chelsea do here? Roberts up from the back, Dixon in there too, and Jonsson. Dorigo taking the kick. Rather a scramble. McAllister turning one way, then the other, off the post! Oh, he was so unlucky then. Great turn by McAllister. Whether it caught in the wind, I don't know, but it certainly deceived Nigel Martin, and it came back off the far post. Lovely trickery here. Now, Martin has come out, he's struggling to get back off the post, and Kevin Wilson couldn't apply the finishing touch. Hall. Wilson's header. Nicholas. Off goes Dixon now. He was aiming then for Kevin Wilson at the far post. Well spotted though by Hopkins. And that'll be a throw.
Just wondered if Dixon might have gone it alone there a little bit. He got Hopkins 1 for 1. He could have gone at him in the corner of the penalty box with a lot of space behind him. I just thought he might have been a little bit more positive there, Kerry Dixon.
It would have been an exceptional pass if he had managed to find Kevin Wilson. Sort of ball you'd expect from a Johnny Giles or somebody, but Kerry perhaps was being a little ambitious. Here he is again. And that's a good ball in. Wilson! Oh, what a save! Great save then by Martin. Kevin Wilson from the cross from Kerry Dixon. Well, we were criticising the earlier cross, Robert. There's nothing wrong with that one.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant cross. Wilson did everything right, superb save. But McAllister, if you see it on an action replay, we see McAllister about 2 yards before Kerry Wilson should have scored. Before
Kevin Wilson.
Kevin Wilson should have scored.
We'll see it again in a moment. Well, let's stay with the action here, and the corner taken by Nicholas. And this time a very comfortable catch by Nigel Martin. Well, that was a great reaction save from the goalkeeper. Bright, Pemberton. Cut out by Johnson, who's been outstanding in this first half. Clive Wilson now, who's popped up on the Chelsea right. Barber had come back with him. My word, it's a battle out there now. Chelsea have had a couple of really excellent chances. So too of Crystal Palace, but it's still 0-0. 10 minutes of the first half to go. Wilson with Dixon. Oh, good effort, and it's there! Oh, that's a cracking goal by Kerry Dixon. Well, he scored with a terrific lob against Charlton a few weeks back. And he's caught the goalkeeper out again. What a clever piece of thinking then by Kerry Dixon. When he's back to goal, he turned and just beat the goalkeeper. Tremendous goal, Ron.
A superb little interchange of passes through the air by Dixon and Wilson. Just wonder here, I think the keeper may, particularly bearing in mind his earlier reaction, say maybe disappointed with that. Don't know whether he shifted his feet quick enough backwards. I think a keeper of his quality would expect to have got that back over the bar. But full marks to Kerry Dixon. Natural striker, sees only the goal.
That is marksmanship of the highest quality, and Kerry Dixon, with his 17th goal of the season, has given Chelsea the lead now with 10 minutes to half-time. Kevin Wilson now. Chelsea looking hard for a second. Wilson with the snapshot, Martin with the save. But Chelsea really buoyant now. They came so close to a goal when McAllister and Wilson went close. And then the effort from Kerry Dixon. There he is, the man of the moment again for Chelsea, Kerry Dixon. Whistle's gone. I think Chelsea wanted to take the advantage. Denied them though by the referee. And Palace just reeling a little at the moment. The referee wants a word with Andy Thorne. Bobby Campbell, Chelsea manager there. One link of his team are going on to Wembley. Well, they're certainly well placed at the moment. Roberts taking the free kick. Dixon just got a touch on. It's Barber back defending, and it's a corner. It's a good spell this for Chelsea.
Very much so. I mean, they've had 3 or 4 very near misses, and then they weigh in with the goal. And you know, you can't help but think that there's plenty more goals in this game, maybe from both sides.
The Chelsea fans here, and there are plenty of them, are in good voice. The Palace players will need some lifting now if they're to haul themselves back into this cup final, the Southern Area final, the Zenith Cup. And there's number 2 from Wilson. That's a superb header. Palace won't be happy about the marking. But a great finish again, and Nigel Martin beaten once more. And Chelsea are now threatening to take control of this Southern Area final.
That's an absolutely brilliant strike. As you say, probably the Palace won't be too happy with their marking disciplines. But most of their big fellas have been pulled out to the far post, marking the opposite numbers on the Chelsea side.
Well, Palace have a real fight on now. 2-0 to Chelsea. 6 minutes of the first half to go. And it's looking very much as if Chelsea are going to be decidedly happier when that half-time whistle goes. Two glorious strikes from Dixon and Wilson. Nicholas with the corner. Too close to goalkeeper Martin. Palace badly need a goal now. It had been a pretty open contest really until those two strikes from Chelsea. And now they're in command into the last 5 minutes of the first half. It's Pemberton with the free kick. Hopkins was in there. Bright. Good turn. And not very far away.
Strange, isn't it? That's arguably the best strike of the night. Really good skill in the box.
Very cleanly hit, wasn't it?
Holds it in clean, holds it in tight, prevents the defender getting at it, and just half turns it. Great effort. Very, very unlucky.
On the volley, and just past the far post. As Palace got themselves in a terrible tackle. And Pemberton just about got them out of it, or has he? Not yet. Now he has. But Laurie McManamy was talking to Bobby Campbell, I know, earlier today about one or two of the injuries that they've had, and Gordon Jury, Alan Dickens, another one who's out, of course. And Bobby's hoping they'll be back in the action fairly soon.
It'll be interesting to see if any of them are available for next week's game, because they've certainly got a wealth of good players at Chelsea.
Also Moncal, the Dutch defender, as I said earlier on. He's been out through injury too. Well, here's Dixon. Well, that was a terrific effort.
That really could have been game-shooter match, but if you watch the marking again on that, you see that Dixon's completely unmarked in the middle of the goal, and super ball through. He doesn't need too many invitations to have a crack at goal, does he, Kerry Dixon?
Pemberton hitting that early ball again towards Bright, who made a lot of ground very quickly then. Tangling with Roberts in the penalty area. The referee wants to wave play on, but Roberts is down injured, and I think he's going to need some treatment before he can continue. He's been through a few battles in his time as Graham Roberts, and here he was involved in this one. He got a nudge there and a boot there. He looks bruised and battered, Ron.
That's right, but I mean, he's relishing his duel with Bright. It's almost as if he got a smile on his face every time. He's got more than a smile on his face by the look of that, but it's every time he competes for a ball with Bright, he's loving it.
I don't think he'll be going off, do you?
No chance at all. No chance at all.
You'd have to drag him off first. McAllister. This is Hall. Kevin Wilson, scorer of the second Chelsea goal. They've swapped passes intelligently here. All going on. Well, they blocked his shot at the end, but here's Dorigo. Good right foot curler, and only just over the bar.
Brilliant, but that's a first-class example now how Chelsea can play. Just move the ball about, pass it, and probably live off Crystal Palace's frustrations. They'll be diving in, trying to win the ball early, and sometimes doing things that maybe they shouldn't have done. And that's a superb effort from the left full-back, Dorigo.
Splendid attacking play by Tony Dorigo.
That's a situation we talk about them playing with a sweeper. That's a situation Dorigo exploits when he's got the license of or the insurance of a sweeper behind him. He can break forward all afternoon or all evening.
Very positive coming forward. That's what Chelsea are looking to do here, but they're denied by the referee's whistle. It's another free kick to Crystal Palace. If they can just get one goal back, we could be in for a very dramatic finale to this game. It's Pemberton with the free kick. Hopkins and Thorne, the other central defender. Both up. There's Thorne. The goalkeeper didn't get hold of it. He came for it, Besson. He didn't claim it. But here's the break again. Clive Wilson. Arrigo again has got steaming down the other side. But here's Kevin Wilson. Is this number 3? Oh, Martin with the save. Goalkeeper did get his angles right on that occasion. Kevin Wilson in the clear, and he couldn't finish off the job. Roberts thumping it forward, not really too worried where. But Kevin Wilson then surely could have put the game beyond Crystal Palace's reach.
It's once again a good ball from Clive Wilson. Miscontrol there by Hopkins. Now Kevin Wilson, you would back every time in this position. Full marks to the goalkeeper. He stood up. He hasn't committed himself. He's looked at the ball right to the last second.
And here is Dixon. And they crowded him out at the last. It was Shaw and Hopkins together, managing to foil Kerry Dixon. But they are looking so dangerous on the break.
Well, I think what it does, I mean, there's the guy that's kept them in the competition there. With that good piece of goalkeeping. But when we talk back to the Chelsea strikers, I mean, virtually every ball that comes out from the back they get hold of.
Right. Andy Gray. And Salako away to his left. It's a free kick, just a few yards outside the penalty area. So a genuine opportunity here for Crystal Palace. 2 goals behind. 1 goal now could make a real difference to them. They need a lift. Chelsea have all 10 outfield players back defending the free kick. Will Gray hit one from here? There's Gray driving it through. Oh, tremendous save by Besson. Andy Gray with a venomous shot then.
Very, very well executed free kick, and as you say, full marks to Besson. He's stayed, he's held, he's looked at it, and even with it swerving a little bit, managed to steer it over the top.
Here's the corner. Besson touching it away. And he has saved Chelsea twice within the space of 60 seconds here.
Yeah, Besson looks on those corners as if he's starting to tease Andy Gray now by taking that front post position.
Palace driving hard now. Can they get a goal back? Appeals for anything, I think, there. They've got a corner anyway. 20 minutes left. Crystal Palace 0, Chelsea 2 in this first leg of the Southern Area final of the Zenith Cup. Live from Selhurst Park. Pemberton! It flashed past the post. A few oohs and gasps around the ground. But Besson looking cool amidst it all. He really let fly here, Pemberton. He had a crack earlier, you may remember, that went way over the bar. This one rising all the time. And it's Hall now in possession then for Chelsea. Nicholas. No flag here. And the ball wasn't out of play. Everybody looking over to the linesman, but nothing given. And Palace just about hanging on there. And Martin at last able to kick upfield, a long kick too. Thomas, Bright, Thomas! Oh, Besson to the rescue again for Chelsea. Thomas unlucky then. It fell for him, and he couldn't direct his shot past Dave Besson.
I think that's also the first time, watch this now as Bright lays it into Thomas's path. I think that's the first time that Crystal Palace have actually had a midfield player pass the ball, past the strikers.
Thomas couldn't get in. McAllister and Clive Wilson, surely a foul then, but the referee intelligently allowing full use of the advantage rule. And here's Clive Wilson, shaking one player off in Jeff Hopkins. Oh, splendid save! And what an important one that was too from Nigel Martin. Clive Wilson with a great little run.
Very, very important. Great shots, and I think you'll find it just clipped the outside of the post from his save.
Well, it's going to be very difficult for Palace to turn this Southern Area final round, but it would have been impossible, surely, if that one had gone in. Back to Martin. He has Gray and Bright way upfield. Chelsea have cleared it away again, and there is the final whistle, and two lethal, stunning strikes in the first half from Chelsea's front two. Dixon and Wilson have secured them a 2-0 lead to take into the second leg at Stamford Bridge.
It was a tough battle. We've come out with the best result we sort of hoped for. A win anywhere away from home is good. It was a semi-final of the Cup. I feel that it was 22 players trying to get to Wembley, and hopefully it was an entertaining game for everyone who saw it.
The fact that this is the last competition in which you stand any chance of victory, is that important to you?
Well, I mean, our Chelsea supporters have been a bit disappointed this year with perhaps our early exits in the Cups. We wanted to repay them and hopefully give them a chance of going to Wembley this year. So, I mean, hopefully we can do the job in the second leg and send them all home happy.
So, Chelsea are just 90 minutes away from Wembley after that impressive victory. And for the second leg at Stamford Bridge, Laurie McMenemy replaced Ron Atkinson in the Sky TV commentary box.
The Chelsea side, Dave Besant in goal, a Wembley hero, of course, with Wimbledon in the FA Cup 2 years ago. Across the back, it's Gareth Hall on the right. In the middle, Erland Johnsen, the Norwegian international, and the Dutch defender, Kenneth Montcalm. He's again replacing the injured Graham Roberts. And at left back, England's Tony Dorigo. In midfield, Kevin McAllister, Peter Nicholas and John Bumstead, with Kevin Wilson, we think, operating in a deeper role just behind the front two. And that pairing, of course, Kerry Dixon and Scottish international Gordon Durie, who's fit again after a lengthy layoff. The Palace line-up in goal, Nigel Martin, along with Besant, one of England's leading goalkeepers. The defensive line-up, it's Shaw, Thomas, Thorne and Headman coming into the side. In midfield, Dyer, Barber, Gray and Pardew, and up front, Salako and Ian Wright, of course, restored to the side after injury. So we're ready then for the off. Crystal Palace in the all-white strip to kick off, attacking the goal to our right in the first half. 2-0 down from the first leg. Can they pull it back here? And they'll certainly be encouraged not only by Chelsea's rather unpredictable home form this season, but also by the memory of last season, when Crystal Palace in the playoffs to the First Division lost the first leg to Blackburn 2-0, but then came back to win the return by 3-0. As we were saying earlier on, it's certainly a positive side that Steve Coppell has chosen. And the break is on here. Bumps it through the middle. Durie chasing. Oh, terrible back pass. And that could have been so costly. A very nervous piece of play then by Headman. But my word, he'll have to settle down. And Gordon Durie almost took advantage there. Rudy Headman drafted into the side tonight. And that was very nearly a nightmare start for him. Headman, the former Colchester defender, replacing John Pemberton in the Palace side. Nicholas dispossessed. Salako. Dorigo forward for Chelsea. Cut out though by Jeff Thomas, who has a role at the back then for Palace. Normally operates in midfield, Thomas. It was he who scored the winning goal at Cambridge on Saturday. Flicked on by Dixon. But Laurie, as we've been saying there, it is an attacking and a positive formation that...
Yes, they've got nothing to lose at all, Peter. They're very relaxed. I saw them down the tunnel about an hour ago before the kick-off, and plenty of smiles around, not the normal tension you would expect when they're literally 90 minutes away from Wembley final. But it makes it good for the game, because we don't want it too one-sided, do we?
Here's Kevin Wilson. He was just onside then. Durie in the middle. Oh, off the bar! Appeals for a goal. The referee, George Courtney, says no. But a terrific edit then by Durie.
We needed the Russian linesman there from the World Cup in '66, didn't we?
Here's Wilson with the cross. In fact, it was Dixon, I think, not Dury, but what a header.
Tremendous header, classic.
A let off then for Palace. That would surely have killed them off. Nicholas. Moncal.
I think that any nerves are in the Chelsea side, and don't forget, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to be 2 up in a game that you're expected to control. Will be easily quelled by the experienced players, and I'm looking at Peter Nicholas in particular, but also John Bumstead. It must mean a lot for him, Peter. He's the longest serving member of the Chelsea team and a good solid pro.
Dorigo. Again they look for the offside, which wasn't forthcoming, and Dixon is in! Fine goalkeeping then by Martin to deny Kerry Dixon, who's normally so sharp in that position. So with a quarter of an hour gone, Chelsea have had chances to have clinched this final.
Amazing really, because I've had 3 chances in that one. To be fair, I don't think Tony Dorigo would acknowledge that that was a brilliant pass. He just sort of kicked it and it caught the Palace defence unsighted really, but Kerry Dixon latches onto any sort of half chance. That's where he's dangerous, but also we saw Nigel Martin on top of his game, and he looks very sharp tonight, Nigel.
And he denied Kerry Dixon his 19th goal of the season. Away by Moncal. Pass from Pardew. Gray. So strong in possession. Hedman now. Palace with plenty of players up in support. Hedman going all the way. Good strike. And this time it's Besant's turn to produce the heroics. Great run then by Hedman. And his right came in. Besant just done enough.
That'll do young Hedman the world of good, because he's had a shaky first 10-15 minutes. And this is a good effort, isn't it? Good quality shot there. Besant did it.
There's the corner in the meantime. Both goalkeepers showing their England class. 2 men in the queue, of course, behind Peter Shilton. And so far, both living up to their reputations. Free kick to Crystal Palace. Will be encouraged by that near miss. And they're certainly well in contention here, although they have looked as if they might get caught out at the back from the sudden Chelsea breaks. Here's Dorigo.
Signals from the Chelsea bench just to settle down a bit, steady down. They want them to play a bit of football, you know, and keep possession and frustrate Palace.
Pardew. Rather hasty clearance then from Thorne. Dorigo again. Kevin Wilson, who's been in splendid form for Chelsea. A pass from Nicholas. Gareth Hall. Right into the body of Martin. Hall, who scored his first goal for Chelsea a few weeks back against Manchester United. A goal that proved the winner too. There's Gray. In search of right, but I think the ball had gone out of play over on the far side. And now we can see that early chance again for Kerry Dixon. And here, well, in fact, he had a couple, and here's the one where he's cleaned through, and that's expert goalkeeping by Nigel Martin. McAllister with the pass. There's danger here. Defence doing its job then to defy Kerry Dixon. McAllister threading it through, too far, overhitting the pass. Kevin Wilson was the player upfield then, hoping to benefit from the through ball by McAllister.
Kerry Dixon does worry defenders in that last third, the attacking third. There's been many a good striker who only switches on in that area because they can always sniff a goal, you know, and the hustle and hustle and the force errors. And there is another strength they flick on.
Dixon on for Wilson. Jury's gone through the middle. Here's Jury now. Oh, just wide. A superbly worked move then by Chelsea. And Gordon Jury couldn't quite take full advantage. Warmly applauded by the
Good
crowd.
classic move, a good ball before that and a good cutback. He came in late. That was the third striker. Bobby Campbell was hoping that would work. Just a pity he couldn't have put his right foot around the ball a little bit, you know, hit the far arc and bend it in there. Would have been a great goal.
Is that offside? No, the flag stayed down. Jury is on his own for the moment. Still Jury. Almost squeezed in. Now it has. And Bumstead has got it. 9 minutes into the second half. And I wonder now, has that clinched it for Chelsea? 1-0 they lead on the night, 3-0 overall. And it was little John Bumstead who arrived on the scene at exactly the right time. Gordon Jury. Ball coming back off the legs of the goalkeeper, Nigel Martin. And it was then steered in by Bumstead.
Well, good experience here. He didn't waste the ball, Jury. Waited, worked the summer position. Keeper did well enough there. And he was unlucky, the keeper, because it flew straight into the path of John Bumstead, of all people, who we criticised possibly going too far forward once in the first half, but you couldn't get a better player to score the goal, which probably will take them to Wembley. Longest serving Chelsea player.
Chelsea have that Wembley look about them now. That'll ease their nerves a little bit, calm things down. And Bobby Campbell will know emotion showing on his face, and I bet you he's a mighty relieved man now. The cushion now is a 3-goal advantage. But Palace looking to spring straight back. Here's the corner. The Chelsea fans are chanting now, we're going to Wembley.
I would think that Steve Coppell in particular will be wanting to know about that decision, you know, because Gordon Jury really did look in an offside position, but I suspect the defender was caught in two minds and he ran forward, and when you see a defender run forward, he's taking a chance. If he's not forward when the ball's played, well then he is taking a chance, and I suspect that's what happened, because the linesman was right on the spot.
He was, and he had a good look too, and he was absolutely adamant that there was no offside. So away went Gordon Jury, and it was John Bumstead with his second goal of the season to make Chelsea's lead 3 goals. McAllister now. Jury's pass. Oh, he's through. And it's another one for Chelsea. Gareth Hall. He had that little bit of luck that sometimes comes your way. And his beaming smile will tell you now, surely Chelsea are through to the Wembley final. O'Reilly's attempted clearance comes back off Hall. And he guided it beyond the goalkeeper into the corner.
Well, he's smiling, isn't he? Because they had a bit of luck, they know that. And this is what happens to a team when they're 3 down. Many a time the defender would have forced that through, you see, but he's forced it against the player. And he's took it well, he's got it through the legs of the keeper, but he's smiling. It's an amazing fact, isn't it, that we've got these good strikers, Kerry Dixon, Jury and Wilson. And both goals have come from defensive players who normally, well, they're lucky if they get 2 or 3 a season.
It's 2-0 on the night, 4-0 overall now then to Chelsea. 15 minutes to go, and Steve Coppell can only shake his head in disbelief. And what a great day it's going to be for Ken Bates, the Chelsea chairman, when he's there with them on that Wembley day. He's just come back from a trip up the Amazon. Another free kick to Crystal Palace for the foul on Salako. Now, will it be Shaw or Thomas?
Just a few seconds left. Moncau only half away. We've now had time added on of 1 minute, and it's all over. And Chelsea have made it to Wembley. The goals from John Bumstead and Gareth Hall in the second half, clinching it for Chelsea after their 2-goal lead. And just look at the delight on the faces of Chelsea supporters, young and old. Great atmosphere now at Stamford Bridge. All credit to Crystal Palace, who made it hard for Chelsea, but they simply weren't good enough over the two legs. And Chelsea are back at Wembley. Their captain, Peter Nicholas, what an inspiration he has been in midfield for them. Handshakes all round. A very sporting contest it's been too. I can't remember a bad foul all night. And Chelsea are through to the final of the Zenith Cup when they'll take on Middlesbrough of the second division.
A delighted Bobby Campbell congratulated his team and then contemplated a Wembley appearance.
I liken it like, I mean, I've got a son at 24, I've got 4 kids, I've got one at 24 and I've got one at 4 years of age. When you have children and you're younger, you really, what's to that, you know, it's no difficulty. But when you have them when you're older, you appreciate them more and you look after them more. And I think that's how I look upon this. It's been a long time coming, and we've all worked very hard for it, and it tastes nice.
Everyone's looking forward to it. We have done ever since we've qualified. Tried to keep our mind on the league, you know, but we can't sort of get away from the fact that we are all going to Wembley, and we hopefully it'll be a great day.
For Chelsea to get to Wembley, it's where really we all expect Chelsea to be, in amongst the top 6, 7 clubs, challenging for trophies. Really, we are where I think we should be.
A large part of Chelsea's success can be attributed to chairman Ken Bates. The competition had been his brainchild, and now his team would be contesting the final for the second time in 4 years.
If we win it, we will have taken about £400,000, which is a very useful contribution to the club's coffers. It makes up for some of the money we lost last year when we were fighting back from being relegated the previous year. And of course, the irony of the game today on Sunday, of course, is the fact that we're playing Middlesbrough, who beat us for the last remaining place in the First Division 2 years ago. So that quite clearly means that it should heighten the atmosphere and the excitement. And I think, I hope that both Sky and Zenith will be very pleased at the return for the fact that they've been so imaginative and supportive in the competition.
So Ken Bates delighted at the competition's success, and the players too were in good spirits as the team coach headed toward Wembley and the Zenith Cup final.
It's a great thing for the club. I mean, all of us to be there is tremendous, and I mean, it could give our whole season a new boost.
Well, obviously we're very pleased. All the lads have been looking forward to it ever since we've qualified, and we're all hoping it's going to be a great day, and we hope all our fans and everyone connected with Chelsea Football Club enjoys themselves.
Wouldn't like to predict the score. I think it would be a very difficult game, and you know, I'd like to think that we'd come away with a win, but we just have to wait and see.
Well, we're all delighted to be reaching Wembley. We started this tournament halfway through the season. We've played 5 or 6 rounds. I think we've played 4 or 5 of them away from home. So it hasn't been an easy one. The boys have applied themselves and they've got the just rewards by achieving the cup final at Wembley. No matter what cup final it is, it's always a great thrill and a great joy for any footballer to be going to Wembley.
It was a great day for manager Bobby Campbell. It was the first time he'd ever been to Wembley in his footballing career. His family, and in particular his 86-year-old mother, were there to see Bobby proudly lead his team out at Wembley before a packed house. Let's rejoin our commentary team of Ron Atkinson and Peter Brackley.
Solari and Bill Fox make their way across to the Chelsea team. Chelsea captained by Peter Nicholas, the Welsh international. There's Dave Besant, goalkeeper, of course, for Wimbledon back in 1988 when they shocked the football world by beating Liverpool. And one of the men behind the emergence of the Full Members' Cup is Ken Bates, the Chelsea chairman. So a proud day for him to see his team back at Wembley. An outspoken man, but one who loves his football. So the two teams break to their respective ends. Middlesbrough to our right, Chelsea to our left. And the sun shining brightly down now on Wembley. So let's go through then the two teams for you. Here's the Chelsea lineup. In goal, Dave Besant. Memories revived then for him of the 1988 FA Cup final. He was the first goalkeeper to captain a cup final team here. Across the back, Gareth Hall, the Welsh international, who's keeping out Scotland's Steve Clarke. Clarke is fit again, but Gareth Hall has got the vote. In the middle, Erland Johnsen of Norway, Kenneth Montcow of Holland, and England international Tony Dorigo on the left. Three in midfield, Kevin McAllister, the man who's been playing so well lately, and two experienced men alongside him in the engine room, John Bumstead and Peter Nicholas. Bumstead, who played in the Full Members' Cup winning side of '86, and Nicholas for all his years in the game, featuring in his first Wembley final. And the three men up front, Kerry Dixon, Gordon Durie and Kevin Wilson. Dixon and Wilson 18 goals apiece, and Durie well on the way back to his sharpest form. Well, now a look at the Middlesbrough side. The goal for them will be Stephen Pears. Full recovery by him from the injury that kept him out earlier in the season. Across the back, Gary Parkinson, Alec Kernahan, replacing the injured Tony Mowbray, Simon Coleman, the man who started in so well in place of Gary Pallister, now with Manchester United, of course. And at left back, Colin Cooper, another who's fit again after a lengthy layoff. In midfield, young Owen McGee, just 19 years old. What a day for him. 3 months ago, he was playing reserve team football. Alongside him, Mark Proctor. He'll be the Middlesbrough captain then. Mark Brennan and Peter Davenport. And the two up front, Stuart Ripley, restored to the side with Ian Baird cup-tied. And Bernie Slaven, what a threat he'll pose to Chelsea. 25 goals for Middlesbrough so far this season. Here's the referee then, Roger Milford from Bristol, experienced referee. He took charge of the Littlewoods Cup final last season. And has also refereed the final of the Sherpa Van Trophy as it was then. Well, we've had hail and rain, but now we have sunshine. Roger Milford just checking that all is well. A few more nervous seconds here for the players. But at last we're underway. Nicholas for Chelsea. Here's Kevin McAllister. Gareth Hall. Perhaps a surprise in some people's eyes that he's in the team ahead of Steve Clarke. Gareth Hall scored in the area final over Crystal Palace, the win over Crystal Palace. And he really has been in outstanding form lately, and Bobby Campbell has given him the nod. I think that raised an eyebrow from you, Ron.
Yes, I must admit, because I've got the highest regard for Clarke. Obviously, Bobby Campbell has decided to go along with Hall, as you say, has been playing very well. He certainly played well in the semi-final games against the Palace, and has got a good little understanding with McAllister on the right-hand side of midfield.
80,000 in the stadium. The first all-seater Wembley final. And there's the first touch for Dave Besant. Saved a penalty, of course, in that 1988 FA Cup final win for Wimbledon over Liverpool. Dixon going through, and he was just beaten at the last end by Kernahan. And that was a very important challenge then from the Middlesbrough defender. At full stretch to deny Kerry Dixon. And I think the referee wants to change the ball. Roger Milford isn't happy with that one. So the first substitution of the game is made, and it's the football.
But I think that you saw straight away there, Peter, that Kerry Dixon signalled his intent. He will represent the main threat, as we've seen in other games that Chelsea have played the part in. Middlesbrough, 2 young central defenders. Coleman's been very impressive in the run-up to the final. He'll need to be bang at his best today.
Here's the corner then, to be taken by Nicholas. Monkow on the near post. It's flicked on by Dixon. Oh! Dury's shot was charged down. Away goes Ripley, but Middlesbrough so nearly conceded a goal then. Dury with the shot, after Dixon had headed it on. Middlesbrough breathe again. As Dorigo cuts the ball upfield, Kernahan underneath it. Under threat though from Dixon, and he's got away from him. And Coleman just managed to steer it back. But my word, Chelsea are testing out these central defenders. Here's the corner again. It was over Monkow, and it's Dixon who flicks it on there. And there's Dury with the shot, and pierced it well.
Sometimes that's the sort of situation that cup matches are won and lost on. And for Mark Stephen Pears, they stood up brave, looked at it all the way. An excellent strike from Dury. A ploy they use an awful lot. The touch on at the front post off a corner by Dixon. Dury finds himself in space.
Davenport to Proctor. Right across the face of the goal, but the Cranston might have got an injury there. Mark Proctor sliding the ball right across the area, but unfortunately for him, no one on the end of it. The man who's captaining Middlesbrough today, in the absence of Tony Mowbray, milking the occasion from the sidelines. Bobby Campbell, an old score to settle. It was Middlesbrough, of course, who sent Chelsea down into the second division 2 seasons back when Middlesbrough went up to the first. A dramatic playoff situation. So a little bit of revenge on the minds of Chelsea today.
Certainly don't appear to be overawed, do they, Peter? They've come here to enjoy it. They've come here to play their game, which is passing the ball around. And at the moment, okay, they've had one hard flutter from Dury's shot, but they've settled down fairly comfortably.
Here's the free kick, and it's Kernahan, and a goal! Oh! Well, I thought it had gone in then from Slaven, and somehow he failed to turn it in. It seemed impossible that he could miss then. Kernahan challenging.
Well, the one player you would bet money on in this country, that's his scene, isn't it? Little tap-ins, anticipated the header from Kernahan. And really, they should be winning the lead now.
Here's the corner taken by Proctor. Back in by Davenport. The whistle's gone, though, for an infringement. But Bernie Slaven then, well, he really should have scored goal number 26. It seemed he just had to score. The free kick was floated over superbly.
Good free kick here. Kernahan's lost his marker. Good free kick. There was a suggestion at one stage of handball on Kerry Dixon. It looks very much Nicholas has done well, though. Perhaps we didn't give him enough credit in the first place, Peter. Nicholas has done very well to intercept that.
Full marks to Nicholas, who got it just before Slaven by the look of that.
I must confess my initial reaction was that Slaven had miscued it completely.
Dorigo. He has Hall in space here. Now for Johnson. Nicholas. Perhaps he hadn't seen them that Dury was down. Roger Milford certainly had, and he's signalling for attention. So on comes physio Bob Ward to attend to Gordon Dury. He's had so many problems, Gordon Dury, with injury this season. In fact, Bobby Campbell was saying he missed so many matches they called him Shergar. Well, let's hope it's not too serious here. Gordon Dury, who's such a valuable player, of course, for Chelsea. 24 years old now, and very much in the thinking of Scotland manager Andy Roxburgh for the World Cup. And he scored the only goal for Chelsea anyway, in the match against Middlesbrough in those playoffs. And of course, when Dury was out injured, Clive Wilson was in the side, playing on the left side of midfield, with Kevin Wilson and Dixon pushed up front. But hopefully Dury's okay. Monkow to Johnson. The Chelsea fans trying to urge their team forward now. Bumstead to Hall. Johnson had continued his progress down the middle, and Chelsea have won the free kick. 20 minutes to the first half to go. Might be a chance for Nicholas to blast one in from here. Johnson is there too, and Tony DeRigo as well, who's got a pretty powerful shot. Middlesbrough have all 10 outfield players back defending this free kick. Roger Milford making sure that wall is the requisite distance away. 5 in the wall. It's DeRigo. Oh, it's a goal! Pear's got a hand to it, but he couldn't keep it out. And Tony DeRigo has blasted Chelsea into the lead. Pears is furious with himself, and he'll certainly be disappointed. He got a hand to it. DeRigo struck it well, but Pears couldn't draw it out.
Yes, who do you give the credit to DeRigo for a lovely swerving shot, or maybe just, as you say, maybe just say to Stephen Pearce, possibly ought to have done better, son?
I think he felt so, Ron, didn't he?
Yes, I think so. He got a good hand on the ball, good shot, good struck shot. There was a little dummy just beforehand from Johnson that may just have thrown Pearce slightly, but he'll be a bit disappointed with Stephen Pearce that he hasn't palmed that one over at least.
So 25 minutes gone, and Chelsea, the first division side, are in front against Middlesbrough. And this will test the character now of the second division side. Tony DeRigo, the goal scorer for Chelsea, doesn't score all that often. That's his 4th of the season and his 1st in this competition. DeRigo, Dury, good tackle there. Parkinson timing it perfectly. And it's Chelsea who are in the stronger position. I wouldn't say it's that strong yet. It's certainly the healthier position in the Zenith final. The only goal so far scored by Tony DeRigo. And there are, that's the view that Stephen Pearce will have, and he will be so anxious that the wall is right after the earlier one that beat him. He's prancing up and down his goal line like a scalded cat. DeRigo is there again. Chipping it through, and this time he's held on. A sigh of relief, I'm sure, then, from Stephen Pearce. Not really hit so hard this time, curled through by DeRigo. Coleman. Middlesbrough looking to start the second half as they finish the first. But can they find a way to unlock this Chelsea defence? McAllister now, hoping to break for Chelsea. And it's a free kick to the first division side. A goal to the good, scored by Tony DeRigo. But is that going to be enough to win them the Zenith Cup? Chelsea, remember, hoping to win the competition for the second time. As Wilson tries to barge his way through. Wilson again, he got a shot in, but his foot was high. And he got a knock as well in the process. But it's a goal kick to Middlesbrough. Kevin Wilson down injured. And both physios have come on. I think there's a Middlesbrough player down as well. And that is Simon Coleman. Simon Coleman, who was at Wembley a few years ago with Mansfield when they played here in the Freight Rover Trophy. Although he didn't play in the game, he was with the squad. There's Simon Coleman. In fact, I gather he pinched a seat on the team bus. He sold all his tickets to his mates and gave them away. Found he hadn't got one himself, so he nicked a seat on the bus. Kevin Wilson, he's been a revelation really for Chelsea this season. Leading scorer along with Kerry Dixon with those 18 goals, and of course a Northern Ireland international too. And he says himself he's benefited really from having to fight for a place with Dury and Dixon. But here's Dury for Chelsea. Now Kerry Dixon. 80,000 people totally immersed in this cup final, which is really bubbling now in the second half. These fans from Chelsea seeing their team ahead at the moment, but certainly that lead looks a precarious one. Arrigo and Jury organising the free kick. A look for Moncau in there. Johnson this time has stayed back. But Dixon's in there, McAllister and Wilson. Arrigo taking the kick. Here's Nicholas, now McAllister. Good turn by him. But he hasn't managed to shake off Davenport. This is Hall. Moncau. McGee did well. He was fouled in any case. And Borough have taken the free kick quickly. Ripley now. Looking to accelerate past Johnson. And the Norwegian international forced to concede the corner. Well, that was better than allowing Ripley a run at goal. Corner then to Middlesbrough. Brennan to take it. The two big central defenders have come up. Kernahan and Coleman. Didn't reach them. McGee. Parkinson. Brennan. Moncau missed his header for once. Slaven back across the goal. Oh, and Davenport with a dreadful miss kick. And he'll be so annoyed with himself there. In fairness, Ron, the ball really flew across the area, but all the same.
Yes, to be fair, he wouldn't have got a sighting on it till at the last minute because Bernie Slavin whipped it in so rapid. In fact, I thought Bernie Slavin had almost made himself something out of nothing there.
But Middlesbrough are beginning to get a grip on the second half. There's the effort from Slaven across the goal. But here's Dixon for Chelsea. Support arriving too. McAllister's gone bursting through the middle. Still Dixon. Beaten though by Cooper. Now Hall. I think Dixon got a knock in the face then as he lost out to Cooper. Indeed, Dixon holding his head, so there's a problem here for Chelsea. Moncau always looks so comfortable in possession. Very fluent player, but Kerry Dixon looking a little worried at the moment. Got a bash in the face. And there are the two subs, Paul Kerr and Nicky Mohan. 25 minutes to go, so perhaps Colin Todd is contemplating the change as he made that excellent save then. Perhaps he's coming on as goalkeeper. And there's Dixon. Let's hope it's not too serious for him. Chelsea still leading, but it's a slender lead. A goal from Tony Dorigo in the first half. A smile from Ward suggests he's okay. Kerry Dixon, who's had a tremendous career for Chelsea. He's second behind Bobby Tambling in their all-time goal-scoring list. Tambling, I think, 202, so he's well on the way to passing that. Dixon on Dury with Kernahan. Dury's got away from him. Oh! Appeals for a penalty, but it was a clean save. And the referee, Roger Milford, had a good look, and he was absolutely right, in my view, anyway. And in fairness to Dury, Ron, there was no real protest from Dury.
Oh, not a cat in hell's chance. Very, very good and brave goalkeeping, and if there's any question mark about Dorigo's goal, he's atoned for it there. He certainly got Alan Kernigan out of prison there because Alan made that. Kernigan's made this look a little weak. He's been out-muscled a bit by Dury there, but his back pass should have been stronger.
Proctor again, combining with Brennan and trying to find Davenport. McAllister again has got back, trying to cut out the service to Davenport. Ripley. Ushered on by Roger Milford. Parkinson, who obviously fancies a crack at goal, but he's a long way out then, Rob.
It's a long way, but he's getting closer. I think his first one was a sighter, the next one he's finding the range.
So by Wednesday he ought to score. Here's Dixon. Wilson had made the run. Dixon didn't find him. There are now just 2 minutes left in this final of the Zenith Cup. Bobby Campbell's team with one hand on the trophy. Coleman forward. Proctor now. Here's McGee. And towards Ripley. And here's Davenport. No, Hall in there first. And Chelsea, as the sun shines really strongly now around Wembley, can come away. Not too far though. Here's Proctor. Ripley chasing. Johnson. Cooper. Bobby Campbell can't sit down any longer. Kevin Wilson. We're now into the last minute. Chelsea 1, Middlesbrough 0. Kernahan. It wasn't a very decisive clearance. Cooper to Proctor. McGee. Middlesbrough still striving. And my word, they've given Chelsea a battle here. Dorigo straight to Kernahan. Now Slaven. Brennan. Moncau. But here's Kernahan for Middlesbrough. One last chance perhaps. We're now into time added on for stoppages. Are we in for a dramatic finish here, or will Chelsea hold on? Jury's header. Now it's the counter-attack. McAllister, a last-ditch tackle from Kernahan. Coleman now. Slaven in for Davenport. He has Moncau with him, and he's beaten then by Moncau. What a terrific tackle that was, Rob.
It was a brilliant tackle. For all the good work he's done today, Peter Davenport, I think that was the best chance to create an equaliser. I think if it had stayed strong there, Middlesbrough may very well have found themselves going into extra time.
Parkinson to McGee. Slaven's in the middle. Oh, it was too long for him. Arriving on the end, well, he hoped on the end of the cross. Bernie Slaven hangs his head, looking a little dejected now. But they can hold their heads high at the finish, Middlesbrough, because they really have given a contest here to Chelsea. Ron, just to name your man of the match, it's Peter Nicholas, I think.
Well, nobody's done more to win the trophy than the guy that's going to lift it. I think he's played a first-class skipper's part, sitting in midfield and controlling the flow of the game.
Jury for Chelsea. Only a few seconds left now. And he's got away from Parkinson. He had Kerry Dixon inside him and chose to go the other way. Roger Milford has looked at the watch. Gareth Hall. That's out of play. And it's all over, and Chelsea have done it. Or have they? I don't think the referee has blown the final whistle. Everyone in the ground thought he had. He probably did himself, but he hasn't. We're still going on here. We've now had 2 minutes of time added on, and that's it this time. The final whistle blown by Roger Milford. And as Chelsea celebrate, one can only praise to the fight they've been given here by Middlesbrough. There's the man whose goal settled it, Tony Dorigo, scored in the first half. But Middlesbrough fought back. They had chances, but Moncau, superb at the back for Chelsea, kept them well organised, with Nicholas running things in midfield, and Chelsea held on. But it has been a day for Middlesbrough to cherish, whatever the outcome. That was always going to be the case. Their first appearance in a Wembley final. Bobby Campbell, I would imagine, looking up to see if he can see his old mum up in the crowd there somewhere. 86 years old. Where is she, he's saying? So said she'd come. So down the steps come the Middlesbrough players as Chelsea prepare to receive the Zenith Cup. Dave Bessant not called on all that often to make any spectacular saves today, but he nonetheless did a good, sound, efficient job in goal. And Peter Nicholas, Ron Atkinson's choice for the Man of the Match award, and I'd go along with that too. Leading his team by example. Behind him, Dave Bessant and Kevin McAllister. It's a long walk up those steps, but when you've a cup to receive, it's very worthwhile. A big broad grin from Peter Nicholas. He's played here for Wales, but never before in a Wembley final, and he holds aloft the Zenith Cup. Peter Nicholas, the captain of Chelsea. Handshakes all round. As Peter Nicholas leads the Chelsea players down the steps. And Middlesbrough are going to set off too on a lap of honour themselves. And they are getting a tremendous reception too from the Chelsea fans. And that's great to see. What a sporting gesture then from the Chelsea fans back behind the goal, as Middlesbrough now receive the acclaim of their own supporters. Peter Nicholas will be leading his players around, receiving the Man of the Match award too. Well done, Peter Nicholas. Grand old cap fader down the years. For Arsenal, of course, Aberdeen, his last club. Luton he played for. And Crystal Palace too, one of the teams that Chelsea beat en route to the final. And for one young fan, I'm not sure who he supports. And here, posing then for the photographers, the Chelsea players. Those are the pictures you'll see in your newspapers tomorrow morning. Kenneth Monkow has a wig on, a blonde wig, which I'm sure isn't his. Nicholas is wearing it now. So hijinks among the Chelsea players, celebrating their victory here. And what a revival it's been by Chelsea in the past 2 years. Things looking so bleak for them when they were relegated down into the second division, but they've come back with a vengeance, winning the second division by a storm. And now 5th in the first division, and here winners of the Zenith Cup.
Peter Nicholas and Tony Dorigo, two men with something special to celebrate here. Peter, Man of the Match, how do you feel about that award?
Very pleased, but overall I think all the lads played well, but we're very pleased to win the cup.
Tony Dorigo, a great goal. How did it feel when that one went in?
Oh, it was fantastic. I mean, I've dreamt of something like this ever since I was in Australia, and to come over and actually score the winner at Wembley is fantastic.
Is that something you've been working on?
I take a lot of the free kicks and I score one or two, but this one was one of the better ones.
You normally it's a wall, don't you?
Yeah, that's the one. The shins.
Over the years, this competition's got a lot of criticism for not being anywhere near as big as the other two Wembley finals. Is that how you feel about it?
Oh, not at all. You could tell by the two sets of fans here today. It was fantastic, great atmosphere. Pity it wasn't a bit more entertaining game and actually on the pitch, but at the end of the day, it's about winning the cup, and we did it.
What about a word for Middlesbrough? Did they play as well as you expected them to?
I think they played a lot better. They seem to be putting their best performances in for the cup, and we found it difficult in the second half, but we battled on well, and they played well, but we beat them.